Ben Shapiro is going viral and getting ravaged by his own fan base and really the entire world for this statement that he's making in this tweet right here. We have this tweet from Media Matters, and it says, Ben Shapiro on Medicare and Social Security. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. A lot of people were very, very pissed off at what Ben Shapiro had to say in this video. His own fan base, the Daily Wire fans, they were all coming at Ben Shapiro. Personally, I think that my opinion might also piss you off because I'm someone who I don't like a lot of things that Ben Shapiro says, like especially when it comes to like the war in the Middle East and stuff like that. I think a lot of his opinions are idiotic and blinded by his own personal bias. But this one, I don't have that big of a problem with at all. And I'll get into my own personal beliefs here in 1 second once we start getting into the reaction from this viral clip from Ben Shapiro. But let's first get into the clip itself, and then we'll talk about the crazy amounts of backlash that Ben Shapiro has been receiving for this clip here.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But
let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. You know, I'm still pretty young, but I have experienced, you know, a lot of people in my family get older and stuff like that. And I am experiencing right now. Like that doesn't go away, right? It's a natural part of life. And every single time, whenever they retire, whenever they lose their purpose, like Ben Shapiro is saying right there, they always start to deteriorate pretty quickly, you know, physically, mentally, everything. Because it's kind of like once you retire, you're just running out the clock at that point. Like there's nothing left to achieve now. Like you're waiting to die. Like that's basically what it is. And, you know, especially, I'll get into a little bit more later on, like what my actual beliefs are on it. But you know, I have certain family members who they retired and they thought, yo, now we're going to live the life, you know, and then they went back to work like a year later because it's like, there's nothing else to do. You know, all I'm doing is running out the clock. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling about that first statement from Ben Shapiro there.
Put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk. That is not fiscally sustainable. The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired. And they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire. By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 65 were in 1940. It's not true at all. Have you met a 65-year-old lately? 65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States. Again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81. I fail to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80 plus is telling you that we should have a retirement age of 65. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with Ben Shapiro here, and I don't say that often at all. I don't even make many videos on Ben Shapiro anymore because most of the things that he says I just don't find like that intelligent, to be honest with you. I think they're all kind of emotional. This one I feel like is like the correct take. I think retirement is dumb. I think most people that are getting really offended by this, which there are a ton of Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire fans that are going after Ben Shapiro for this take. I think a lot of people,
and let's be real,
who are offended by this take from Ben Shapiro are people, and I really don't mean this in a derogatory way. I swear I don't. But there are people who hate their lives and they're working for retirement. In my opinion, the correct way to go about life, and this is just, you know, you don't have to live my life. This is how I choose to live, and this is my belief. I work very hard right now so that I am creating a life that I actually enjoy living. I have done that now. I love my life. I, you know, make a good amount of money. I enjoy the work that I do every single day. It's very fulfilling work. A lot of people, though, They go and they wake up and they go to their cubicle that they absolutely hate every day. They come home to children that just spin them up and cause even more anxiety and stress. Then they go back to sleep. They don't work out or anything. They go back to sleep and then wake up and go back to their cubicle that they absolutely hate. And it's like, every day when you wake up, you hate your life. Of course, you're going to get mad at someone for saying that we should raise the retirement age or not have a retirement at all, because you absolutely hate the life that you've created for yourself. I think that's most of the people who are angry at Ben Shapiro for this, is because they work, and it breaks my heart to see like friends of mine who are like 23 years old, and they're like, you know, I have this job and I hate it right now, but I'm going to get great retirement whenever I'm 60 years old. It's like, dude, you're not going to, like, you don't have the same amount of energy when you're older to enjoy the money, to enjoy the retirement as you do when you're younger. So if you enjoy content like this, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video. Not saying that you have to live the same life, have the same philosophy as me, but I'm saying personally, I agree with the sentiment of Ben Shapiro. I have created a life that I actually enjoy living right now. Yeah, I work my ass off. I work hard, but it's fulfilling work. And I work for myself. I don't have to go to a job every day that I absolutely hate. And anybody can do it. I'm not special. Literally anybody can create that life for themselves. And when you do create the life that you don't wake up and hate every single day, I don't have an interest in retiring, because what the hell else am I going to do? Like, yeah, people are going to say, oh, I'm going to go travel the world and enjoy a life. You know how boring that's going to get? I can do that right now, and I choose not to. I like being at home. It's more fun. You know, I don't have any interest in retiring at all. I think it's dumb to just run the clock out. I want to keep achieving things. I want to climb new mountains. I want to keep, you know, working towards something. I don't want to just run the clock out. I feel like that's really dumb. For one reason, because it's boring. For two reasons, because you're going to deteriorate very quickly whenever you start to do that. Ben Shapiro actually responded to this outrage and says, yes, if you are mentally and physically healthy, taxpayers should not pay you to retire at 65. When Social Security was created, life expectancy was 64. Today, it is 78. Also, people require purpose. If you can retire and find purpose, go for it. For many, that is a bad idea. I agree. Everybody needs a new mountain to climb. As soon as you don't have another mountain to climb, you start to fall off, for sure. Kira, which is like a really big meme page, says opinions from millionaires whose job is to sit and talk on retirement should be ignored. And it's just like, Kira just is gonna just tweet out the most popular opinion. Most people out there hate their jobs. They hate the life that they've created for themselves. So of course they don't want the retirement age to be raised. They want it to be lowered because they're ready to get out of the life that they've created for themselves. And I know that a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, it's not my fault. You know, I had to do this. I didn't come from a privileged family like you, Justin. It's like, okay, man, like you can keep telling yourself these excuses, or you could just, this isn't, I'm not trying to get into like a motivational speech, but you can keep telling yourself these excuses like, oh, poor me, woe is me, I didn't come from a privileged family like you. It's like, all right, just keep telling yourself that and keep crying about the retirement age. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Yeah, you're right. Hassan, the popular Twitch streamer, says, I hate these MFs so much. They're advocating for increasing the retirement age, advocating to legalize child labor. Wait, what? And half the country genuinely believes these guys have the best interests at heart. I don't know what the hell, where did that come from? Legalize child labor? I don't know if that's a take from Ben Shapiro. I've never heard that. I don't agree with that. So I don't know what the guy's talking about, but it's Hassan, so who knows? My grandpa's hands look like this, so Ben Shapiro's hands look like this. All right, that's a pretty funny one. Steve Deese says Ben is 100% correct, and people hate him. Like, I understand I'm going to get a ton of backlash for this, but I mean, you know, it's just the truth. Like, I don't think anybody should be creating a life on purpose that they want to retire from. I believe that everybody should, and I know that you're going to be like, oh, it's easy for you to say, it's easy to say, harder to do. Yeah, it is hard to do. For sure. It is hard to do, you know, but just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not worth doing, you know. But Steve D says Ben is 100% correct, and you can see he got kind of ratioed there. 1.1K replies to 1.3K likes. You know, people are pissed off, dude. They want their retirement age. It's like, once you're 65, even if you have enough money to retire, it's not going to be as fun as if you just create the life that you want to live now. And then we have Pearly Things saying it's quite easy for the elites in society to say this. Again, none of this in malice, just out of touch with the working man. Elites generally are. Is Ben Shapiro considered an elite? I don't know. Let's see the replies to this one, actually. See what's going on here. He's talking like an elite. He wants us all to work in the widget factory until we die. Little Ben has never worked a hard day in his life. He should be quite... for me, I don't want you guys to work in factories until you die. I want you to go create a life that you actually want to not retire from. That's kind of my message when it comes to this. I don't think you should go work in a factory or a warehouse for the rest of your life. It's obviously a miserable existence. You know, you should retire from that life. I just would rather you guys, more people, be open to the idea that you don't have to hate your life for 40 years to just enjoy it for 20 at the end. You can just create the life now that you actually do enjoy. Like, I wish more people were open-minded to that concept, because it is possible. Like, literally anybody can do it. I'm not like special. I just worked hard. Greg Foreman responded to the Ben Shapiro tweet as well. He said Social Security needs to be abolished, just like the federal student loans, but the GOP needs to be present a replacement that will give working people the option to retire with financial security. Don't just take it away. Make an argument for a fiscally responsible alternative. So he is saying that Ben Shapiro can't just take away Social Security, but we should have an alternative instead. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. You know, like I said, I understand my opinion on this. It's not the popular one. I understand my opinion on a lot of things. But for me, that's kind of how I've always looked at things. It's like, you know, you can see these people when they grow older, you know, they retire, they lose their purpose, they deteriorate pretty quickly. It's very like that happens every single time. It's very predictable, a predictable pattern. So for me, it's like, number one, why would I want to retire for that sense? But also, I've created, you know, I have a life now where I don't want to retire. Like, I don't want to just run the clock out. That seems like a waste. That seems like a waste of life. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I understand a lot of you are going to be mad at me. Hopefully you're able to open your mind up just a little bit and understand like where I'm coming from. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely off base. Very open to have the discussion. If you did enjoy the video, you know, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope to see you guys on the next one.